So good day everyone. As you can see, I'm done with the filling of the data for the graph, and then you can see that our x is our dependent variable. This is our equation: y equals x squared plus 2x minus 3. Then you fill in the values of x because x ranges from -4 to 2. So we fill in, then you fill in the corresponding values of x squared. That's -4 squared is 16, -3 squared is 9, and so on and so forth. Then you fill in the corresponding values of plus 2x. That's plus 2 times the value of x here, that will give -8, plus 2 times the value of x here will give -6. So, and then when you get to the constant, you fill it through. It will be a constant throughout the row. Then lastly, you now add the pertinent cells to get the dependent variable. So when we added the first, the second, third, and fourth for each of these columns, we'll get the last cell. So I haven't done that. We'll move on to the graph now. Now I haven't done that. This is the question I solved. This was the question I solved on the board. Draw the Cartesian graph of y is equal to x squared plus 2x minus 3. You can see that the values are similar because this is the question I solved. Now here we have for the values of x from -2 to -4 to 2. You can verify that if you go back to the video. You can see that that's correct. Then we are asked to use the graph to find the value of y when x is 1.5. So basically, what you do, just the way you plotted your point for the linear graph, you also plot your corresponding point. For example, when x is -4, y is 5. So you are going to, on the x-axis, you trace -4 upward. Then on the y-axis, you trace -5 to the right, to the left. So where they intersect will give you the point. So, and then that's how you get the successive points. And then you trace them together with your pencil or using a French curve if you have one. Then after doing that, you now begin to attend to the questions. Find the value of y when x is 1.5. So you just look for trace 1.5 on the x-axis. This is the horizontal axis, also known as the x-axis. This is the vertical axis, also known as the y-axis. So when you trace the when you trace 1.5 on the x-axis, where it cuts the curve, you trace it horizontally to meet the y-axis. So where it cuts the y-axis is your value of y when x is 1.5. So that's how you get that. So in this case, the value of y is 2.25. You can also verify that it's close. So then we have the next part, the value of x when y is 1. So you just trace 1 on the y-axis. Where it cuts the curve, you trace it down to meet the x-axis, and that would be the x value. The same method. Now say the minimum value of x squared plus 2x minus 3. Now the minimum value of a graph is the lowest point on the graph. So this goes down, then it gets to a low point, and then it goes back up. So what you're asking is the lowest point. So if you draw your graph correctly, you find it very easy to look for the lowest point. And in this case, this is corresponds to -4. That would be the minimum value of the graph. Then lastly, the last question says the value of x when y is least. So what's the value of x when y is least? You can see that y is least when the graph is at its lowest point. Why? Because the graph is a function of y. The graph is equivalent to y. This curve is y. So when this curve is least, that means y is least. So what you're asking is that what is the value of x when y is least? So in essence, that means what's the value of x when the graph is least? And when the graph is least, that's -4. So what you need to do now is just substitute a -4 in your equation for y. So when you substitute in your equation, or rather you don't even need to substitute, using the graphical method, just trace the horizontal line from that minimum point upward, and then you get the x value. In this case, the x value is -1, so that would be the value. So that is how you solve quadratic graphs like this. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.